So I'm really pleased this morning to welcome Sarah to our show, to the Breakfast Show on 107.3 Stafford FM. Now, Sarah, how are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing all right. Thank you, Paul.
Now, a lot of people will have seen you in the town. How long have you been around the sort of Stafford area doing evangelism?
We've moved to Stafford in 2018. It's been nearly 3 years now.
Do you know, for some reason, I thought you'd probably been around longer than that. I think you've become part of the fabric of Stafford. People have seen you and your mum and dad singing and doing evangelism in the street.
Yeah, we've been doing this for quite some time now. Some people say we're like the Von Trapp family, like you see in the movie The Sound of Music.
Yes.
It's me and my parents as a family. We go around. We've been doing that since 2006, and we have traveled just over 150,000 miles, visited 306 town centers, proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ through singing hymns. So we have been on every transportation you can imagine, like EasyJet, Flybe, airplanes, taxis, buses, trains, and ferries. So most interesting one is probably towing caravan and car.
Yeah.
We lived in this place for nearly 2 years without living in a brick and mortar home. So interestingly, we are foreigners. We have no idea what caravan even looked like. Mind you, knowing how to tow a caravan. And when we first traveled, our first place was actually Stone in Stafford. So I think the Lord has brought us back to Stafford to
Wow.
share the gospel here again and to touch people's lives here again.
So you first went to Stone. Was that way back in 2006 then?
Yeah, that's when we started towing the
Uh,
caravan car.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what brought you to the area in the first place, to Stone, and what made you choose this part of the world?
We just went by the map. So when we started off, it was Preston, and then we took an M6 motorway and we were going down, and we happened to just stop at Stone. That was our first place we can see where we can park the caravan, and we happened to be just behind the pub. So that was just, it happened just like that. And we got used to this Staffordshire area, and that's we started towing the caravan everywhere from here. I mean, the M6 is so close to where we are,
Yes.
especially where we live at the moment, and it's just helpful for us to go north, south, east, and west. It's almost like the central part of England where we can travel all over the place. So that's probably why we ended up staying in Stafford. But we had lived in London for a year just before we came to Stafford. And we thought that the Lord might take us to Walsall, which is down near Birmingham area. But how we ended up in Stafford is quite strange how things are happening like that. But we just go by the Lord, and where He directs us, we stop and take that opportunity to proclaim the gospel there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that actually, how you choose where to go, but does it come through prayer, or is it invitation from churches maybe, or what is?
And my dad does most of the prayer and direction. He just, in the morning, we decide where to go and we take the M6 motorway and we go. If we get traffic, if things go wrong, then we take a turn to a different place. So that's how we go about. We just pray every day and the Lord directs us where we need to go. And when we go there, surprising things happen. So we just think, oh yeah, definitely the Lord has led us to a good place. Wherever He takes us, we trust and we put our faith in Him. We're grateful for that.
We've been talking to Sarah about how she came to Stafford and Stafford area with her family. So, Sarah, have you got any funny memories of what you do in Stafford? Has anything happened that has, sticks in the mind?
We meet broken-hearted, neglected, sick, alcoholic, homeless people every day. And I remember meeting a homeless guy aged 67. He had quite a bad smell. He didn't wash for nearly 3 months and no one was giving him any help. He had tears in his eyes when he came up to us, and he said he was really encouraged and strengthened by meeting us here in Stafford Town Centre. He went to prison for something that he had been falsely accused of. He had lost everything and the council could not help him. Even close people he trusted have turned back on him. So he thanked us for being there. It really gave him strength. He hugged us and said thank you. in tears. And I suppose it really helps me to understand how important this Choi Family Singing Ministry is for people like this guy we meet in Stafford. So I suppose that's probably one of the most interesting, nice, thoughtful memories for Stafford.
Yes, and it's so important, I think, at these times, especially over the last year or so, people are finding things really difficult, aren't they?
Yeah.
How are you finding things whilst we're in lockdown? Presumably you can't minister in churches or on the streets at the moment. So how are you keeping yourselves busy and how are you finding things?
We are just trusting that the Lord will just take care of us as we are at home. Thankfully, I mean, we before this third lockdown, we were out again to share the gospel in different town centers. But now we're at home. We're grateful for some of the supporters that we have met over the years, and they have been a great support and prayer for us as we stay at home and as we keep occupied sharing the gospel through online media and through radio at the moment.
Very good. And one final question, Sarah, and
Yeah.
that is, if you had the chance to say one sentence to somebody that you met in the street, just a chance meeting of someone, what would you want to tell them?
I came across this little note whilst I was evangelizing, and somebody left a note. And I think this is quite striking for me. It says, "If we meet and you forget me, you have lost nothing. But if you meet Jesus Christ and forget him, you have lost everything." It is quite a very strong statement, but I do know that this statement have changed many people's lives, like the people who came out of prison, alcoholics and drug addicts. So I suppose that has really touched me when I saw that. So I would probably say the same thing to someone.
That's a really thought-provoking thing to say, Sarah. Thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate your time. And hopefully we'll hear you on Stafford FM again sometime in the future.
Thank you very much, Paul, for the invitation.